this like angel. It wasn't really an angel. It was just like this. I don't even remember the being. I just remember a thing taking me. Like maybe it could have been an angel. It could have been like a spaceman. I don't know. Took me into outer space, and he showed me something. Do you want to know what he showed me?
Yes, I have to know now.
The moon is the size of the sun, and the sun is the size that like replace the two.
Okay.
And that's the true. We revolve around the moon, and it's all an illusion that we revolve around the sun.
Hey, yo, you good, bro?
What kind of
That I,
melatonin did you take?
Yeah, straight up, dude. Like enhanced
I'm
melatonin with CBD or what? Because that's
nothing.
bananas.
That was just straight up a good night's sleep.
Melatonin laced with
I need
DMT.
to get that kind of sleep. God dang, son. All right, welcome back to another Seance Sunday podcast where we talk about all things creepy, cryptid, horrible, terrifying, and awesome. Also, we have a little fun and talk side chat about, I don't know, whatever the topic of the day is. But Happy New Year. We're great to be back. I know it's been a while since we've actually done one of these, so we're happy to be back with you guys. Um, as always, we're going to be covering one movie in each episode. This week, we're going to be covering The Fourth Kind, and just giving our takes on it, how we thought about the movie, how we felt about it. And, it's kind of a nostalgic thing for us. I remember, when did that movie come out? 2000 and what?
9, 8. Hang on, I'll look it
2009?
up.
Yeah, 2009, I believe. That movie came out.
2009.
Yeah. So this is giving us away on how old we are. We were in ninth grade, freshmen in high school when that movie came out. And I remember I remember when I first watched, I remember watching it. What did I watch? I want to say I watched it in the theater with an audience. And yeah, it was terrifying back then, but we rewatched it recently, and it's not as terrifying as I remember it being.
It's absolute garbage. It was a
I know.
terrible. I think in the last podcast, we like last time we talked about it, I was
Mm.
like, "Oh, that'd be a great movie." I remember it being really good, and we could talk about it because it like vaguely related to the one that we had talked about that week.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was an awful, awful movie.
I mean, I liked
I'm
I
glad I
liked the
watched it.
cinematography, and I think it was creative in the way they used like the documentary, um, like the live tapes or whatever that they had saved or recovered. They had actors obviously reenact like these sessions where people were tripping out after they went into like the deep meditation, or what is it called? God.
Hypnotism.
Yeah, the hypnotism thing where they had people act that out and they made it seem like it was actual like um recorded footage, like real recorded footage. So I thought that was
Yeah, so
it was cool.
it's a reenactment of true events that occurred in Nome, Alaska. Apparently,
Yes.
they're called pseudo documentaries.
Pseudo
Yeah, it's all made
documentaries.
up.
Yeah.
Pretty much. After, I mean, I still remember when I first watched it. I watched it with my mom. My mom was like, "It shouldn't be too bad," but back in ninth grade, I was like, "Oh my God, this is terrifying. Why would you let me watch
I
this?"
know.
And I remember thinking that it was all true. I don't know when I figured out that it was fake, but I remember thinking that it was all true found footage.
Yeah, I
Well, it
know.
like says like loosely based off of true events at the very beginning of the movie, I believe.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's all made up,
I think
like
it's all
every bit
made
of it.
up. I don't know. It
I'm
says it's
Pretty
based off.
sure.
Is it like that whole thing based off a true story, which is like 90% of it's BS, and 10% of it is based off an actual event, maybe something like that. I don't know.
Hang on, I'm looking.
But anyways, that's what we're gonna talk about today. That movie, and then talk about what we're gonna do going forward in the new year. Some new things we're gonna try with the podcast. Maybe get it up on streaming platforms once we get a good rhythm going. and obviously create a separate YouTube channel for the podcast where people can watch the live video like we're doing right now, and then for anybody that doesn't want to watch the video, they can just stream it wherever they want. Yeah. But anyways, back to the movie. The Fourth Kind. So, like Brady had mentioned, it centers around these events like UFO or alien activity events, paranormal events that happened in Nome, Alaska. And I don't remember if they actually shot it in Alaska or in Nome, but it looks beautiful wherever they shot it. And it's great for that.
I'm sure they had the budget to shoot it out there. And then wasn't the owl like the like it had to do with an owl, right? That's like I said, full transparency. I did not rewatch the movie. I had so much time to do it. I had an eternity to watch it.
I know we planned on watching it and doing a review on it like last year, but we never got the time because Kyle had to go off, and we had to wait for him to get back. But then it was the holidays, and all that just kind of got pushed aside. But we're back now, so yeah. 2 months ago, me and Kyle rewatched this movie, and are now trying to recall it for everyone who wants to listen to this.
Well,
Yeah, but
the
I just
owl.
remember the owl.
The
The
owl
owl is like something in the movie. It's like the
Isn't
face of the
that-
movie. That's the cover of the movie.
Isn't that the psychological representation, like what the aliens put in their brain to let them know that they've had an encounter, but the owl isn't actually there? It's just part of the
something like
making shit
that.
up.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a representation of like that's how they come in. Like like you said, like a symbol. Like hey, that's how they let the people know that they were visited and abducted and experimented on and stuff like that. That's why whenever the people go under into like the hypnotism thing, they start like flipping out because like I see the owl, and then they start recalling all these events of something at their door and something coming into their room, and then they're being lifted up and all this other crazy stuff. Fun. Lots of fun.
Yeah, I think the part of the movie that I recall the best from when I watched it in 2009 was the part where I guess I don't know if it's like a flashback to where like the guy like floats above the bed and it like says like I am God and like some sort of demonic voice, and that's the
Oh,
part
yeah.
that just always traumatized the shit out of me. I was like, Mom, why you let me watch this?
What was that, like Abibibu Iter or something?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like
It's ancient Sumerian is what it is.
Sumerian.
Yeah. Which I think
Isn't that based off of the
the Anunnaki. or whatever.
Anunnaki?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that the whole thing? Like the Anunnaki aliens are coming and
Yeah.
they set up in ancient Sumeria.
Yeah, that's the mythology or whatever conspiracy thought behind that. See, when like that scene happened, like it didn't. Watching it, I was like, this doesn't seem like alien activity or what you normally hear people getting abducted and they only remember versions of it. Of course, it was real dramatic in the movie, but still, I'm like, that doesn't seem like to be alien origin, if that makes sense. If anything, it sounds like a demonic possession, like is what it looked like to me. And I'm like,
That's
like
the
demons.
focal point of the movie that I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever had that sort of cathartic release of understanding why the aliens came in the first place. Like, I don't know if I can't remember that. It was a terrible movie. It was hard for me to pay attention.
Isn't it kind of all over the place too? It's kind of like hit and miss, like on what's exactly going on.
A little bit.
Yeah, it definitely goes back and forth. There's part of the plot is like trying to make you believe that maybe she's crazy and that she killed her husband and that it's all a plot, and another part of it's like, yeah,
I know,
it's-
like she's
it's
really
wild.
grief stricken. Well, because the character, what's her name, Doctor something, but she's a psychologist, and her husband dies, and so she starts going to therapy, and she has a friend that she goes and sees, another trusted, psychiatrist, and does the same thing. He puts her into hypnosis, and she's trying, and the reason he's doing this is because the doctor herself, she's trying to remember what happens the night her husband dies, which happened like a couple of months prior to all this events in the story or in the movie. And she goes under, but she can only get so far in the dream before she completely freaks out, and he has to wake her up and snap her out of it. And what she can't what keeps tripping her up the most is she gets right there to where she's about to like turn over and like touch her husband or feel for her husband, and she swears is like there was somebody else in the room. Someone came and murdered him. He was murdered. He wasn't, he didn't just die how everybody thinks he dies. He was murdered. And she, keeps this whole ideology throughout the movie that her husband was, murdered or whatever. When in reality, he kills himself, and it was so traumatic for her that her mind obviously can't accept the reality of what happened. So she formulates this whole other narrative in her mind to negate the fact that her husband actually did kill himself, committed suicide in their home. And yeah, that's the I guess the state of her mind in the movie, which is really sad because and it's kind of ironic because you go to psychiatrists to help you process your trauma and stuff like that. I assume. I've never been to a therapist, but it seems like that's part of their profession is to help you rationalize all this trauma and things that have happened in your life that have drawn you to this point. And here she is at this pivotal point where she's had this really traumatic event happen. And her being a psychiatrist herself, she's still not even able to process it logically or whatever, even though she's a trained, psychiatrist, which is ironic, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like that the way you just explained that, I feel like if they focused more on that element of the story and not on it being a weird found footage pseudo documentary sort of movie, if they would have just focused on that aspect, that motif, and just stuck with it, I really think that could have been a good movie to explain and talk about how mental struggles that people go through, these emotional traumas, and the effect that it has, that even professionals have issues and struggle
Yeah.
with navigating it. I feel like that would have been a much better story than what the way that they went.
I know.
It's
And
like they had three ideas and then
tried
they
to
all
mesh
fought
them all
about it.
together. And it was,
Yeah.
it ended up being kind of weird like that. I think when I first saw it, though, just as, a teenager, it was just like the shock factor of all like the jump scares and the suspense and drama and, you know, all that stuff was what got to me and what stuck with me the most. Like Brady was saying, the freaking guy rising up from the bed and all this, like he was possessed or something like that. And like I still clearly remember thinking, I'm like, okay, this isn't alien activity. This is demonic. Like it just seems demonic to me. Like it doesn't seem like it's aliens. It's way too
What wasn't
like purposeful, and they spoke too clearly in certain terms. And like, what is that? Just jumping straight to the end, they say, I am God. Like when the doctor herself gets possessed or something like that, or taken
wasn't that
over.
kind of like the purpose of the movie to like kind of like make it seem like the aliens were like the demons that everybody sees in the world? Wasn't I faintly remembered like that being kind of like the basis of like what the movie was.
I guess I don't remember. I don't recall.
It was I just remember it being kind of like jumbled around a lot, so I kind of caught that vibe from the movie, but maybe they didn't address. Again, this is 2009, so they didn't have like the best. They have the best like
Yeah,
get go for how the movie was scripted.
yeah. I think, like Kyle says, it is better when they just focused on like if they would have just focused on her story, like her overcoming her traumatic event in her life, her husband's death. Like that would have made for a better movie, I think, than them
Yeah.
trying to give influences of extraterrestrial events and
Or if you were to tell a story about how the all alien abductions are really just the Anunnaki and that those Anunnaki are what we call demons. Like,
yeah.
say it's almost like a whole separate story
I know
than
from
the psychological trauma story that they were also telling.
I know.
Yeah.
It's weird. It was definitely like, I think kind of when we agreed to like rewatch it, and we're like, oh yeah, I remember being terrifying. We were just kind of blinded by nostalgia. I think is what it was. It wasn't that it was like
That's exactly what.
this great movie that we just it was part of our childhood, if you will. It's like it wasn't fantastic of a movie. It was great for like cinematic audiences for them to sit down and watch it and experience it together because it was dark and psycho and not not psycho, but it messed with your head a lot, I guess, because you had to really
Yeah.
follow it closely to get the actual meaning of stuff. It wasn't like when we covered "No One Will Save You." Like that was a lot of
Yeah.
symbolism and metaphor and stuff like that. Now this was just like, I guess, more personal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The
Or maybe
fourth,
I'm just rambling.
No, no, it makes sense.
it's quite possible that the fourth kind was so much more terrible this time because we did watch such a good movie for the first one.
Yeah.
That's
Like
probably so. Yeah.
I had like 5 or 6 pages of handwritten notes on like all these different elements no, is it No One Saves You?
Yeah. No one will
No one
save
will
you.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal movie. They stuck to a really good motif. They had a good theme, and they just wonderful.
Yeah.
This one, there was nothing. Like I was trying to take notes. And I was like, what are you doing?
You
Stop
also got to
doing
think
that.
that it's probably like in 2009. That's probably one of the first movies of its kind. I'm trying to remember movies that would even compare to that back in 2009. Maybe like War of Worlds, but that's strictly aliens. And nothing really did something like that in 2009. Maybe that's why it was such a scare factor for a 14, 15, or 16-year-old in 2009 because we hadn't seen anything like that. We haven't
Yeah.
seen like demonic possessions like that, considering to be an alien and stuff. So I think that's what made it so pivotal, so stuck in our mind.
Yeah.
But just I do agree with Kyle how like we watched such a wonderfully like scripted and directed movie as No One Will Save You. Like we were just like, no, the fourth kind, that was like
I know.
above its age and stuff like that. You go back and watch it, and like you said, man, he just the nostalgic factor really steps in
I
there and
know.
kind
It
of
kind of
like,
put the blinders on. You're like,
yeah,
this
blurs your
isn't.
vision. You're like, well,
I know.
this was a dog shit movie.
I know. It's like I said, other than like the cinematography of it, I guess how it looked. I mean, it looked stunning when they're doing the aerial shots where she's flying into Nome, Alaska. I'm like, it's beautiful. Like that's really nice. It's really
Yeah.
pretty. Um, but other than that, I guess storyline and plot was kind of like, I guess.
So tell me again, how did the movie end? Didn't it end with her surviving? Right? She lived at the end of the movie, correct?
Yeah, yeah. She lives. How it ends up is she, like I said, she's a psychiatrist and she's done it. She's doing like this hypnotism therapy on some of her patients because she's noticing a pattern that they're all having the same kind of dream and they're dreaming of the owl. And she's like, what does that mean? She's noticed like multiple people are having the same experience. So she's doing the process of trying to document it because she thinks it's like a phenomenon that's happening and she's trying to like record it as best she can while at the same time kind of dealing with her own life issue, which is her husband's death. And so, in the process of her doing her investigation, when she puts people under the hypnosis, obviously they have a lot of repressed memories, and whenever they bring it back up in the hypnotism, they freak out. And one of her patients actually, like has such a traumatic experience from the session that after he comes out of it, he's kind of like spaced out, and he's like, I just got to go home. And then later that night, he ends up like murdering his whole family because he believes that whatever he saw in his dream that was repressed is coming back to get him and his family. So he's like, they're not going to get me or my family. So he murders his whole family and himself. Yeah. And so then that it starts a police investigation because it's like, he was your patient and you said you did this to him. Like, did you somehow manipulate him, like psychologically, into murdering his family? So, the suspicion gets put on her and she's like, oh my God, no. And so there was this weird because the sheriffs of the town that she lives in was a friend of hers and he knows the truth about what happened to her husband, but he respects her enough and cares about her enough to not to let her try to process it on her own way. And he's like, all right, well, people are dying now, so I can no longer be your friend and be patient with you because the people in my town are dying because they're going to see you. You're doing something to them, and then they're going home and killing themselves and their families and hurting other people. Like, this can't happen. All that to
So
say,
there,
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
I said, all that to say, at the end of the movie, yes, she ends up getting her kids taken away from her. Because, like, we think you're a danger because, these people keep dying after they see you or they talk to you. So it's like, we don't think it's safe. Um, so right before they come and, like, take her kids away, she's at home. And they have a police officer stationed outside to watch her to make sure she doesn't try to run away or anything like that because, she's under investigation. Well, that's happening. They're watching her. They have one police officer stationed watching her. Apparently, like a alien spaceship comes and abducts her daughter and, takes her daughter from her. And so the police come again. They're like, where's your daughter? What did you do with her? He's like, they took her. They took her. She's like, what do you mean? Like, she was just here. Like, 4 hours ago, we were here. She was here. What did you do with her? He's like, they took her. They took her. But yeah, she ends up surviving. The state takes her son away because she has a little girl and a boy, and they take her son away. And I just remember her son. He's only like 8 years old, maybe 10 at the most. And like whenever they come to take him away, he's like, "Mom, let me go. Like I don't want to be with you. You're crazy." Like I'm like, "Damn." He's like straight up turns his back on his mom. He's like, "You're crazy, Mom. Like just let me go. I don't want to be with you anymore. Like let me go." Of course she's like, "No, you're
Don't
not taking
believe
my
that they're
son."
aliens, son.
Yeah. And he's like, "Do you believe that there's aliens, boy?" But
You're supposed to
anyways,
believe your mom.
so that happens, but she ends up surviving, and the whole thing is like she insists that the aliens did take her daughter, and her daughter's never been found. So, but yes, she survives, but she's obviously all kinds of messed up and kooky and frail.
10 out of
I
10. 10
Nutty
out of
house.
10, she killed her daughter.
think 10 out of 10.
Oh,
She.
yeah.
How well? Okay, so if she did kill her daughter, how did she dispose of the body so fast, and how did they never find it? Because they had a police on her the whole time, and they tore the house apart. They searched, the town over for this little girl. I think it says in the movie that they did like a big search for her, trying to recover the little girl's body or find out what happened to her. And her mom still just insists that the aliens came and they took her, like she's
I wonder,
gone.
was the daughter kind of getting a little skeptical of the mom too in the movie? Because if so, like in real life, if it is based off of real events, I would imagine that the girl might have ran away just because her mom's batshit crazy. And I mean, if you're in Alaska, a bear will get your ass real quick, and you won't see a body anymore.
Well, that's true, but no, like the little girl in the movie, how she's portrayed, the little girl saw what happened to her dad. She saw
Hmm.
her dad kill himself, which obviously traumatized her so much that it made her go temporarily blind. Like she was blind, she couldn't see. Um, which people try to allocate, like that's something that can happen when you're exposed to a really traumatic event, visual trauma. You're just like, oh god,
Yeah.
and I don't know, for whatever, it's some kind of protection factor that your brain does, and like makes you go blind so you can't see anything traumatic again and hurt your subconscious. But anyways, her
Interesting.
daughter is blind in the movie, so I doubt her daughter ran away if she was
Yeah.
blind.
Run into a wall and be like, "Ugh,
I know,
I
like I
can
don't
see
think she
again."
and her daughter's only like 7 or 8 years old. I don't know, she's pretty young too. I would say the boys. Actually, I take that back. The boys probably about like 11 or 12. Little girls maybe 7 or 8. So still, a young kid. So I don't think she
Gotcha.
just ran away.
Well, since I didn't watch the movie fully, what would you guys rate if I didn't watch it again? I know we rated No One Will Save You, but I can't remember what the parameters were on the rate. So I want to hear you guys is like what would you would rate it?
Um, All right. So if we're gonna do categorically, um, overall, I guess view of the movie, cinematic,
Cinematics,
yeah,
yeah.
cinematics. I'd give it a solid like 8 out of 10. Like it was shot beautifully, the cameras were good. Plot wise, I'm gonna go like 4 out of 10 because like it kind of jumped around. It was like Jesus. Um, uh, Effects wise, I could say they had pretty good like video effects as far as like they did the cut where they had like the captured footage or like CCTV footage or camera footage or something like that. That was good. I would give that a solid like 6 out of 10. So my overall would be 5 out of 10. Yeah.
What about you, Kyle?
What were all those categories? What was the first category you said?
Visuals, like
Cinematics.
visually. Yeah, cinematic.
Visually, it was unique, right? There's times when you have the documentary, the found footage right next to the reenactment.
Hmm.
That's pretty unique. I was interested in that. I would give that technique an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10. That was cool. It made it different from other films. I did look up and find out other films that were like that. And you had Cloverfield come out the year before, which was found footage style. Then
Yeah.
in 2009, you also had District 9 come out, which was, another documentary style alien movie. So
Both
it was,
quality movies. I'm gonna say that both. I think quality movies. People both those movies. I like those movies, especially District 9.
I like District 9. I was not a fan of Cloverfield. 10 Cloverfield Lane was fine, but
Yeah.
I
I heard
couldn't do
people got sick, like motion sickness, trying to watch
motion sick.
Cloverfield because it
Oh
was
yeah,
found footage. It was all shaky, and people were just getting sick in the movie theater trying to
they're
watch
like
it.
scaling the buildings and like that, and I was like,
I was like,
yeah, I could see how people are doing that.
yeah. It reminds me.
What about script?
Yeah.
Script wise, Kyle?
Mm.
The
Are we talking
best.
about like okay, so there's times when a script can be like the story's pretty good, but individual lines when you're listening to how it's delivered, you can tell that the actor is like really like George Lucasfilm. Uh, there was a lot of talk from the actors and actresses about how it was really hard to say his lines because he would write them in a way that people don't talk.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about individual exchanges and like the way that the script was written, it was all right. Like it wasn't robust, it wasn't particularly great, but it wasn't awful. I'd give that a 6, a 7. If we're talking about story, when you say script, if we're talking about like the overall story, I think 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Story
was
wise, yeah. Plot
there
wise,
was there was like yeah, you had the continuity of the storyline, like it all sort of fit, but it was just everything was so reaching. There wasn't really a good. Again, it was just like a mesh of ideas. Uh, all right, a 2 or 3 on the overall script, but the individual dialogue was fine. I didn't find it too cringy.
What
yeah,
about overall? That Manny's at a strong 5 out of 10.
yeah,
Strong 5 out of 10.
yeah.
I know you were a little bit higher on like the cinematography and stuff like that, so maybe like a 5.5, 6.
Ugh, man. All right, so
Sounds like he doesn't want to go above
oh,
5 out of 10.
I
Five
I'm
seems pretty
struggling.
generous.
I'm struggling to give a 5. And the
Yeah.
reason why I say that is because I can watch some pretty Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a terrible movie, but it's so good
It's
because of how terrible it
well,
is.
yeah, because that's fun though. Like it's a cult classic, and even that for nostalgia's sake, if you're being blinded by nostalgia from Killer Clowns for Outer Space, it's just fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to say a 4, maybe a
Res-
5. The
Respectable.
only thing that I really liked about it was the way that I thought it was a unique and interesting way to do the film, but it wasn't necessarily unique for the time. You already had Paranormal
Uh,
Activities came out the year after that one or the year before.
A
One of those
year or
parent,
two after, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, and they had that was a basically CCTV footage that was all strung together, and that was another unique way. But so I guess maybe they weren't that unique in it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to stick to a 4. I would struggle to watch that again. I don't think I ever will. Like I don't.
I'll read the summary next time.
Like, I have no desire to watch it again. I mean, like I said, blinded by nostalgia. I remember it being a whole lot like more intense and spooky and scary and dramatic but
Who
like
suggested this movie? Was it me? Did I suggest The Fourth Kind? Was it you,
I feel like
Brady?
it might have been me. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm the one person that didn't rewatch it. I'd probably be shitting on it right now, but I guess
Oh.
overall, then if our viewers are out there and they want to go watch it, take your nostalgic blinders off and really critique
Yeah.
this movie because it's not that great.
Yeah, it's not a fantastic movie. It's it's a product of, I wouldn't say a product of its time, but it's a product of imagination and people trying to make like, because it was supposed to be kind of like a serious film, like a lot more serious,
Yeah.
but like just the plot and stuff wasn't really there, I guess, to really make it impactful. The only thing that made it impactful was like the dramatic scenes, the
All right,
abduction
I can
scenes, the
give it
possession
a.
scenes.
I've got to add a point or two. So maybe a 5, maybe a 6, and that's because you're right. I went in there with some relatively high expectations.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, maybe a little bit of my hatred right now, my frustration with having wasted my time is just coming from how excited I was. Though I was like, oh yeah, because I do remember it being super scary.
Yeah.
It was.
I know
It
it
wasn't
wasn't.
Well,
scary.
that
It just wasn't.
fourth kind crawled so other great movies could run.
That's
Nowadays,
true.
I
Yeah.
guess it set up a very crumbly, gravelly baseline for what good movies could be in the future, and there've been plenty since then. So
Oh, most definitely. Plenty since then.
So all right, so we want to talk about the film, do schedules for our stories. I know that was one of the things I mentioned, different channels, and then the next podcast topic.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so stories. I know we've all been busy with the holidays and the new year and stuff like that. Uh, I've been slacking. I haven't been recording as much, mainly because of the holidays, and I was just not in the mood to try to record and narrate stories and produce them and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I guess we can try to get back into a rhythm on that for the Ghost of 94 YouTube channel. And then for this podcast, well, I'll make a separate YouTube channel for that. Just that way, people don't have a mix of the two. You want to keep the narration and all the audio horror by itself, and then podcast format stuff by itself. And, do your best not to like mix the two, because I found that people don't. Yeah, we got a lot of views on some of the shorts I posted from our first episode, but like not a lot of them were returning, I guess, viewers to the channel. So it's like, okay, well, if we had a channel specifically dedicated to this type of content, I feel like we would get a lot more returning people or returning
yeah,
viewers
I
and
mean,
stuff like that.
dude, I love those little reels, man. I don't know. I work in marketing, especially with digital marketing and short form videos like that. Man, they just kill, dude. TikTok kills. Little short reels on Instagram and Facebook, they kill. They're so good, and like that's what, and I think we talked about it last time. Having a couple of those short clips before we actually release the full Seance Sunday podcast would get us more a cluster of people that actually wanted to, because they get that little nugget, that little taste, and get that little taste in your mouth, and
Yeah.
then they come and watch the full hour of us rambling on
Oh, no,
about
yeah, talking
the
about
bad fourth
whatever.
kind movie.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna need you to say that again. That little nugget. Do that again.
little nugget. It's like when you got that little piece of little piece of food. You're like, I want more.
How many do you think are appropriate? Like 2, no more than 5, or leading up to the episode?
I think two solid ones. Like I think two is really good to start off with. It's just putting them out before the actual Seance Sunday comes out. And it also we kind of learned our lesson on the fourth kind. Our next subject should be very impactful, something we're very passionate about. So we get more
Yeah.
rock
Not,
hard about
not quite so
talking about it
nostalgic.
respectfully. Yeah.
That's not
Nostalgia's
so
good in some
nostalgic.
aspects.
Well, I
Let's
know
do some research before we pick the next one.
somebody had brought it up that we should do. I want to say it was you, Kyle, that we should cover Pearl
Oh yeah, yeah,
with
Negative.
yeah.
Mia Goth.
Negative goes
Or was it
negative.
X? Was
X.
it X?
X is the
Oh, you
prequel
definitely said something about it.
to Pearl. Yeah, I remember that because those
I
two
don't know
movies.
either of these.
You don't know those
Brother,
movies?
you brought it up. He's
Yeah.
the one who brought it up.
You
100.
sent
There's
us
no
like a
way.
screenshot. It's like, hey, we should watch this, or that, or you wanted us to watch
Yeah.
freaking
Yes.
Blood and
That
Honey.
was me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
Blood and
Kyle.
Honey
You
was
forget
me.
Yeah.
That one was me for sure. And the other two, the reason why I suggested those isn't because I've seen them. I don't know anything about them. They
Me
were
neither.
suggested to me from two other people. I don't even think I have those on my notes anymore. I think I deleted them. Yeah, no, those were suggested to me from a friend a while back. I think while I was at school, they suggested it, and I think we spent like 5 nights in a row watching movies in our classroom. We hooked up our computers to the projector, and we would watch movies.
Nice.
So, what movies are they? I don't.
Like
Pearl
and X.
and X. Those two movies go together. One's a sequel, one's a prequel. Pearl, I think I got it wrong before, but Pearl is the prequel to X.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Which I have no earthly idea what X is about. I faintly know the backstory of Pearl, which is mostly just I know that Mia Goth, Shia LaBeouf's baby mama's in it.
Yeah.
Which give her credit. She's on a lot of other stuff too.
Oh yeah.
But the clips I've seen, it's pretty cool. I think it's more horror though. I wouldn't horror thriller. I don't know.
It's horror thriller because from my understanding, this I guess a brief synopsis of Pearl is she's a farm girl who lives in a farm somewhere in the United States. She hates being on the farm. Her family, doesn't want her to leave, but she wants to be a movie star. She wants to go to Hollywood and be an actor. There's this travel or talent agency that comes through town looking for, people to perform in, movies and do, be actresses and whatever, like fillers. And she wants to be part of that. And I think a lot of what happens is because obviously her family doesn't want her to go, so they kind of like refuse her, and she like snaps mentally because she's like, I'm going to die on this farm. Like, I want to be somebody. I don't want to just be nobody. And I think she ends up like murdering her whole family or something like that.
So some of the comments about it says wild, terrifying, and offbeat. Some of the reviews. Pearl is one of the best movies of 2022. It's an incredible horror movie and is just great in general. Pearl is a colorful slasher with a good score, gore, and performances that you don't want to miss.
Yeah.
All right, it's got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7 out of 10 for IMDb, and the sequel is X.
Yeah.
So Pearl's the first one, I guess.
Yeah.
Do we say watch Pearl first or watch both?
Well, if you want to watch it in the order the movies came out, I believe X came out first and then Pearl came out.
Yeah.
It kind of did, like a George Lucas thing where, he did the prequel first or the sequel first and then the prequel later. Goes in reverse order. But
They came out pretty close together though, I think. Like
Both are saying they came out in
Same
22.
year.
did they?
same year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That's where
yeah,
people
I guess
get
we can
confused.
watch them in chronological order. That way we can get a good sense of like Mia Goth's character because I think she's pretty much kind of like the star of the movies anyways. At least I know for Pearl she is. So Pearl, and then we can watch X. And
Like it.
And we're watching both, and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about both.
yeah,
All right.
that way
And then if we feel like strong about just doing one podcast over one or both, I guess we can just talk about that like amongst ourselves.
yeah. And we can kind of figure out if we want to dedicate a whole episode just to like analyzing Pearl or X or whatever, and analyze them individually. But since they're sequel and prequel and sequel, they go together. It might make sense to do them all in one episode, so it'll be like a whole thing, coverage of a series.
I like
Um,
that. I'm gonna watch these movies.
yeah. Yes, please watch the movies. That way you could be more informed on the conversation that we're trying to have about the movie that we were all supposed to watch.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
want this the next podcast schedule. That way I don't watch it too far out from it. You know, if we're not gonna meet for 2 months, let's.
yeah. I
Well,
feel like
okay,
that kind of
yeah,
hindered you guys too because y'all
yeah,
watched it like 3 months ago.
yeah. So while we're on the topic of schedule, we want to try to shoot for every other week with this podcast, right? So we won't have one next week, but the following week, that'll give us a whole week to watch these two movies, take notes, analyze it, think about it, stuff like that, and then come back and, convene and share. Does that sound
Yeah,
good with
I'm
you
kind of
guys?
liking the
Like every two
I'm kind of
weeks?
liking the Thursday setup too. I think Thursdays when I'm usually really clear on stuff, like Thursday nights.
Okay.
Okay.
Thursday, Fridays I'm usually pretty out of pocket, but Thursday nights is pretty good for me. But yeah, and then
Okay.
if we all watch it just next week, then that'll just give us a good setup to actually talk about it for the week following.
Yeah, yeah. So Thursdays. Does that work for everybody for the most part? Because
Mhm.
like I'm good for pretty much weeknights, weekends, whenever. My schedule's pretty free because
Thursdays.
work's slow.
How many days before? All right, so for the Ghost of 94, is it Brady Monday? No, me Monday, you Wednesday, Brady Friday. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's what we were doing, and like I said, we've been off schedule because of the holidays and the New Year. I would like to try to get back on that schedule. That way, we have 3 videos a week, and I hate to do this because I like doing like fuller productions more, but I think just for time wise, if we're gonna try to do this podcast and the audio horror and narrations and stuff, I'm not gonna be able to put as much production value into the short stories that we do. So anything under like 30 minutes or anything half an hour, I'm not gonna put a whole lot of production value into. I'll do what needs to be done to make it not
Well, I
realistic,
feel
but
like that's.
intense. It's time
I feel like
consuming.
that's. I feel like that's my favorite part though, is doing that. And this is just, when we can meet, I enjoy doing this.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
So
I
I'd want to
think
put
I
more
like.
effort into the stories.
that's fine.
Yeah, and I'm just sticking to like really short ones because I know like I don't know. I perform better under like those 2 or 3 minute stories, which I love. I love an impactful short story. I really love it. That's why I stick to the short ones.
Yeah, yeah.
But man, it's kind of hard to find them on Creepypasta. It's like, oh, there's one that's like, oh, what the fuck? I gotta turn my light back on. Uh,
It's the Anunnaki. The
Yeah,
Anunnaki's coming. Where's the owl?
don't say that.
ooh, ooh, who the fuck cares? Oh, good, jeez. Oh, we go. Oh my god.
Here comes the sunburn.
Yeah, I can see him now.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so that's fine, Brady. Then I'm thinking, um, do we
Let's do
want to
this
change
once a
it?
month.
Huh?
Let's do this once a month. I want to focus on those. I really like doing those. That's really what I want to get back into. This is fun, but this is also, this is going to be, I feel like what we're doing here is going to be much more niche.
That's
And
true.
you're going to
Yeah.
get like 5 people wanting to watch 3 goofballs talk about random movies, especially whenever, we're not that excited about the damn movie.
I know. It's
I mean,
it's the first episode to come out in the new year, and like I said, this was supposed to be done last year, but the holidays and family and stuff like that just doesn't always add up, and can't
mhm.
allocate enough time for it, which is understandable. We're all busy men trying to do what we got to do. Uh, but yeah, we could do once a month for this. I enjoy being able to see and talk to you guys because you two are my oldest friends, and I've talked to you guys more in the past. God, in the past like 3 or 4 months than I have in the past couple of years, which is crazy.
Very true. And we
I
can
thought you
get
were
a
going to
lot
say
of
in the
content
past
out of just.
hour.
Huh?
I mean, yeah, this whole year. That's a lot for this
Yeah,
year.
that's true.
But
That's
I
true.
feel like I kind of like that we can like pull segments from just this one meeting. Like, we talked about the movie at first, and we can find like other subjects to talk about after, and we can just kind of clip it out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like if we have a subject that we want to talk about, make a shorter form video, but we can get it, we can pull it off from this one video instead of meeting like 3 or 4 separate times. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's true too. Okay, yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
All right,
So
all
I
right.
think I just confused this because now I don't know. Are we going to meet in 2 weeks then and just do what Brady said?
We are going to meet in two
I,
weeks to cover the two
yeah,
movies. That's what,
yeah, we
we
need to.
we tried to try to do that. Um yeah. I mean, every, bi-monthly or bi-weekly, is that too much for you guys? Do you guys prefer the once a month? Because I know for like most podcasts, they want to do like at least no more than bi-weekly or no less than bi-weekly, I mean. So like a once a month podcast to try to gain any kind
Yeah,
of traction probably won't happen because people aren't going to wait a whole month for another episode. They don't mind waiting, a week
that's
for an
true.
episode if, we want to do that.
Yeah, I like that. I think bi-weekly is pretty attainable.
That way we meet
Unless Kyle,
twice a month.
yeah.
Yeah, twice a month. That's 2 episodes a month, which is not crazy, especially for, like I said, three goofballs that just talk about horror movies and, bullshit with each other.
All right, so I got 8:30 on January 18th.
8:30 on January 18th. That's next Thursday.
It should be
It's
good.
not next Thursday. It's 2 Thursdays from now.
Oh,
You
yeah,
lying
I'm
to
sorry.
me?
Yeah, 2 Thursdays from now. My bad.
I like
Keep
that.
me on my toes. Yeah, okay. Stories. Let's get back on the topic of stories. If we're gonna try to do that every week, like I said, if Brady's fine with doing the small ones, like the shorter stories, that's fine. We can do those on Friday. That can, it's some content that'll go over the weekend. People seem like, I think Kyle had mentioned it. People like to see the stories that are a little bit longer, at least 30 minutes or longer, 40-minute videos. Which I
I
know,
think the 40 ones are the ones that got all of the good views. And anything that's 30 and shorter, they just, like, okay.
I don't know.
I
It
don't know
doesn't.
what it is. I don't know why.
I don't know. I guess people just like long. Well, I think about it, like when people listen to like audio stories. I know it's usually during like a commute to work or something like that when they just have ample time and they're not really doing this. You know it's easy to listen to have on in the background to listen to something. So I guess that's why those videos or stories get the most views because someone listens to it long enough that pushes it more in the algorithm. It has more play time. Therefore, the algorithm's going to push it up, meaning people are going to be able to see it more. They're going to view it for longer. I guess that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Not saying we all have to like submit stories that are 30 minutes or plus because that's a lot. It's a lot for me to try to freaking record a 30. Hell, just doing the last one I did, which was, what was it? God, I just did it and I can't even remember what it was. The fifth
Pulling it up.
floor. Yeah, the fifth. I think the fifth floor by Ryan Peacock. Um, that's only like a 40. It's like a 40-minute read. That's only because the sound effects and stuff I did in it, the production wise, made it like 40 minutes plus. But other than that, like just trying to read for 30 minutes, it's a lot of editing you have to do afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for me because I'm
Yep.
not like just the best just reader, just straight reading it. I always have to stop. I'm like, fuck, messed up. We can start again. All right, do a take again. Do a take again. Start, stop, stop, start.
You should see me doing my 2 minute ones. I'm like, and I'm like, to start all the way over.
We need to
'Cause
figure
I
out
wanted to
we need to figure out like a little software or something for you to be able to record where you can stop whenever you need to add, you messed up and you don't have to start all the way over. You
Yeah.
can
Well, I was
simply
really hope my little converter for my phone would work because that's how I can do it really well. My converter works really well. Like if I
Yeah.
can do it on my phone, but it's kind of a little sketchy. I'm gonna have to figure out how to like set it up because it worked, but it just like cuts in and out really bad for my phone. It's just a shitty like $5 connector. So
dang. I would
I'll figure
say
that out and then it'll be easier.
get something. Oh wait, because yours connects via USB, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the Yeti. It's a USB because I was trying to think how you could connect it to your phone. Connect your microphone to your phone.
Well, that's what I have. I have my converter, and
The
it
little
connects to the
converter.
phone. It's kind of because it cuts in and out, and I can hear it when I'm recording. Because if I do my phone, it's just as easy as stopping, and then I can edit it really fast on my phone, and it works. But
Yeah.
if I could just get it solid to where it doesn't like cut in and out, I'll be fine. Like I can record stuff really easy then. But I'll just have to put a little bit more effort into it and
Yeah.
figure it
Yeah.
out. If I order like a ten or $15 converter that actually works, and it's not a piece of shit.
That's not cheap.
I can commit that. I can
Not
commit
getting,
to that. So
not Brady getting the Timu converter.
yeah. I want the one with the bad reviews.
Only the ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think for this next week, do you guys think you could each get me a story? Like Friday, I'd need yours by no later than Thursday. Like I said, the short ones don't take me long. Since it's so short, I'm not going to do a whole lot of production value on it. I'm just going to add,
Yeah.
clean it up, add some music, add maybe a sound effect or two for when it's necessary, and then that's going to go out. Kyle, if you can get me a story, like I know you've been working on N.M. Brown stuff. Um, like I don't know, you can crank out like a 15, 20-minute story maybe, or whatever longer one she has. Crank that out. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't.
I'm
When do you need it by?
committed.
If you need it by Monday, do you need that tomorrow? You need it Saturday?
Saturday would be preferred. If you think you can, I don't want to push you too hard or too aggressive
Ooh,
right now because you're just starting getting
I
back
think I
into
got a
it.
wedding.
You got a wedding? Dang. Okay. So maybe we
I'll
shoot
try to get it to
for.
you Saturday,
Okay.
but I might be able to. Let me work it out. Let me work it out, dog.
Okay.
Let me work it out.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can push mine out well before Thursday next week, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, yeah. And if you, like I said, if you have one, because I still got to do part two of the one I just released. I still got to record that one. Um, they're coming for us. Part two. It's a pretty long one. And I chose to do it in pieces because I got frustrated with myself because I couldn't record, the 45-minute plus story all in one go. So I'm like, whatever, this is going to be a two-parter. And then I'll release it as an individual, like one and two together. It's just the whole
Yeah.
story so people can listen to it all the way through. All right, that's
We
cool.
can always start with ours next week, and then Kyle can push his out for the following Monday or something like that.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that.
I'm done.
All right.
I'm done.
And then 2 weeks from now, we'll reconvene. That should get everybody enough time to watch those two movies. They're not terribly long. Oh, and be forewarned, from my understanding, what X is about, it's like very adult rated content. If you catch my drift, like it pertains a lot with that. So, I guess
I don't know what does that mean?
adult content, like X rated films.
What's
Movies.
that?
Yeah.
Scandal.
Zesty, scandalous. But anyways, yeah, it has to deal with that type of subject matter. So, just be forewarned, I guess, that way you're not taken off guard. You're like, oh, geez, I got to turn this off. Nothing like, you don't want your kid in the room or your wife in the room. Like, what the hell are you watching? Like, it's not what you think. It's for the podcast.
This is for science and research purposes.
This is for research purposes. Uh-huh.
Why do you have Pornhub on? Why do you have Pornhub
Why
on?
are there so many tentacles?
It's called cross-referencing analysis.
Cross-referencing. God.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think we could ever have Ross on here. We'd be talking about off the wall type shit.
Oh,
God,
you want to talk
I would-
about out of pocket?
I would love to have Ross. I miss that big guy. How's he doing? Has anybody talked to him lately?
Oh, dude, he was up this last week, and he went out with us. Him and his cousin Tyler went out with us on New Year's, and he got blasted. It was like we were down bad the next day. He was down bad next day all day.
Wow.
We bad enough to where I woke up at like 9, and they were in my spare bedroom, and like, y'all hungry? And I was like, oh. He's like, you just get me something. And me and Tyler went and got McDonald's. We came back. He did not get up. He didn't get up for McDonald's. Like we brought it in.
Really?
And yeah, I put on The Gray because I really want to watch that movie again.
Dude, I
and me and
watched The
Tyler-
Gray recently. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, and we just watched it. Just watched it this weekend. Still a great movie. But I watched it, and he came in, like 8 at Friday, and he's like, I'm gonna go take a 5-minute nap. He like walked away for another 30 minutes, and he came back out. And he's like, "Oh, so hungry, and it smells so good, but I can't eat it." I was like, "Dude, just eat a couple fries, you'll be all right."
Yeah.
He ate like 4 fries, and he's like, he had to like stand up, start pacing around. I'm like, "Dude, it's just food. You should be fine by now." He's like, "Oh, am I?" And he like burped a little bit, and he sprinted to my bathroom and projectile vomited for the next 30 minutes. Like you just hear like, "Oh." I was like, "Oh
Oh
my God, he wasn't
God.
lying."
No kidding.
Oh
Oh,
man.
poor Oswald.
Nasty.
Well, at least he still
Yeah.
got that spirit in him. I'll give him
Yeah,
that.
he
He
danced.
still
He
got the
danced on
spirit.
women and stuff like that. He danced on women at the bar and stuff like that. It was pretty
He had a
tight.
good time. We're
Just can't.
good.
He can't finish though. Didn't get a number. Didn't get nothing.
Damn.
I'm
My
just.
man.
One of them was a recent divorcee too, so he had
That would have been right up his alley,
rebound,
man. Come
Oh
on.
man.
rebound written on his forehead.
Oh, man. What are we going to do with that boy? But okay.
What's next on the agenda?
Next one.
One of the things I've always wanted to do was to create like a taxonomy
Mhm.
of all the ghosts, ghouls, goblins, monsters. I think. Oh, I just think that would be awesome.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
A good
I just think it'd be
Kinda
really
like what
cool to
we-
do.
Kind of like what
Talk
we
about,
did.
because the podcast is about, all things.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll learn a new I think that happened in like one of our first runs.
Oh,
of
yeah.
this.
Where we were talking about, like, the cryptid hunting, whatever.
yeah.
I think it was cryptid hunting, and then we talked about like I think a phantasm versus a ghost versus a spirit.
Oh, yeah. A phantom
like,
versus
really-
a ghost. Yeah.
Like imagine we can reduce them down to like the kingdoms, right? What is it? Animal, vegetable, and fungus, right? We would have like, the things that you just can't reduce any further. They're just absolutely different, like in their substance, in substantia. And then like just creating a whole taxonomy of like species, genus. Like, oh, this is a genus of a type of jinn, but it's this species. I think that'd be a really fun
would-
thing.
that
I'm,
would be
I'm weird
interesting.
like that though.
That would be interesting. It sounds like a lot of work that I'll tell
Sounds
you
like
right
y'all
now.
aren't nearly as interested as I am in that.
I'm interested in
Cliff
the
notes.
Yeah, I'm interested in the cliff notes and the concept of it, but like doing the work to do it, I'm not interested in doing the work.
Say
to
less,
do
my
that.
man. I'll have it ready for the next one.
All right, if you want to
I
do
would
that,
share my,
how about we do that? Like, if you can come up with say like 5 different categories of monsters, cryptids, spirit, whatever, and then we do like we did that game where it's like, all right, which one would you hunt? If you hunt this one, it's this much money and you get this prize. If you hunt this one, it's this much money and you get this prize. Stuff like that. Like that was a fun little game
that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
because
it was.
they gave us something to talk about because it was goofy, it was silly, it was funny, but it also pertained with like kind of creepy stuff. Like you're right.
What's that game? Mary Kill.
Yeah, that's right. We
do
did
that.
do that, but with cryptids.
We'll do that with cryptids too.
And I'll have
Oh,
to
yeah,
like
fuck,
it,
want
for the
monster,
video
but-
portion. I'll have to like include like little images in the video. Like that'd be great. We could do that. Like Gremlins. I watched that over the Christmas break with my son. He enjoyed it. That was a nostalgic movie too. Gremlins. Did you guys ever watch that?
Oh yeah. Wasn't Hulk Hogan in one of them? It was like the second one, I think.
Hulk
Like
Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, is in the second one. Yeah, he's in the second one.
Oh,
And
God,
it was
I have
just
to-
like so random, one off.
I have to look that up. I can't remember. But you might be right. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's been such a long time. But we watched the original, like the first one, just regular Gremlins.
Yeah,
So that one,
that's where Furbies. That's where Furbies came from, huh? Wasn't it like a Furby first or whatever it's called, and like you can't feed it after midnight or something?
yeah, it was a Mogwai, which I never even looked that up. What actually is a Mogwai? I think it's a mythological creature from Chinese folklore or something like that. But then, yeah, you don't feed them after midnight because they transform into these little goblin monsters that just destroy everything and hurt people and cause havoc.
Sounds like a kid. Give them candy after 8 o'clock, and they're just off the walls.
I
man.
think, I think the whole concept of the Mogwai is kind of like a parable for that. How you treat your kids. You don't let them eat junk food after midnight because they just get out of hand, or let them have sugar after a certain time because they're uncontrollable and they can just cause all kinds of havoc.
That's definitely
What you're
that's
saying
definitely
is
where it comes from.
Hollywood is like sending out miscellaneous messages back in the day about like how to treat your kids. Don't give them candy and after midnight.
I
Shit.
guess I don't know. I don't know.
I
Apparently,
don't know
a
the
lot of people are going to be in trouble in Hollywood. Did you guys hear about the Epstein's
Dude.
list? It's finally getting released.
Yeah.
it was released like 3 days ago. There was nothing crazy in it. Or 2 day yesterday?
It was supposed
I
to
don't know.
re-
I've looked at it.
It was supposed to have been released on Tuesday, and the only thing that they said was about it is like it was supposed to implement Bill Clinton and a handful of other guys, but they actually released the full like Epstein's full client list now, and there's tons of people. Like I was just looking at some examples of it today, like people posted videos of it or snippets of it. There's a lot of people that were involved with Epstein that I had no idea. I'm like,
Like Stephen Hawking and who else was it? It was
Ste-
like Stephen Hawking, The Rock,
Jim
Jimmy
Carrey.
Fallon. Like,
Jimmy
Jim
Fallon,
Fallon
Jim
wasn't.
Carrey. Yeah.
No.
it was either
Fallon
Jimmy
wasn't
Fallon
mentioned
or
it.
Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm
Or,
sorry,
yeah,
Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah.
Kimmel wasn't. So no, there was a beef between Kimmel and that was it Rogers, the football player, and like isn't he? I don't know. I'm not super into pop culture. Anyway, one of them was talking smack, and the other one was like, "Oh, you're probably on the list." And then Kimmel's name never showed up on the list. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive his name wasn't on the list. And then you had like Stephen Hawking. His name was only mentioned in reference to, I think in the court filings it said something about. I don't even remember. It was something about like calling him or going over. That's also how they mentioned Trump. They were like, "Yeah, I'm going to call Trump or something." But there was never any.
Actual allegations.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing crazy that came out of it. It wasn't the wild. I was upset. I wanted it to be the wild, like everyone's going to get in trouble. But
Yeah, I wouldn't like
I don't know.
that. I don't know.
Just speculate.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation, and apparently, like, I mean, just image-wise, like, it doesn't look good to be affiliated with that guy in any way. So it's just like, he called me, like, once to wish me happy birthday. He's like, well, you're on his call log, so now you're part of it. Like, ah!
You're affiliated now.
Yeah, affiliated. Apparently, like, yeah, it's pretty wild. I guess you have to look into the individual, like, allegations or claims or whatever, documents of how these people are affiliated with Epstein. Because, like you said, it's like not that they knew him directly or worked with him directly. It's just like
Right.
they knew him and they may have met him or met with him or something like that at one point. But still, like he took him on as a client for some purpose or for something. So therefore, they have affiliation with him, and so now everybody's getting investigated. It's like, did you know about the island? Did you know about the island? It's like, I don't know. That and Katt Williams calling out everybody. Have you guys
Dude,
seen that?
yeah, he's making wild accusations now.
Straight up, dude. I was listening
Wait,
to
what was that? Say that again.
Katt Williams calling, like, making accusations about, like, all the other, like, black comedians. Like,
Chris
she,
Was he?
Tucker and Cedric
I
the
didn't.
Entertainer and stuff like that.
yeah. Look it
I
up.
didn't see anything about that.
Look it up. Just
look
type
that
in
one
Katt Williams on YouTube. He does like a podcast with what's his name?
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah,
the
Shannon
football
Sharp.
player.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp. And I mean, he
He
goes
gets
in
pretty
hard. He sets
chaotic.
the record straight on a bunch. Well, supposedly he sets the record straight on a bunch of stuff, like business. And it's like, whoa. It sounds like
It's
he's
always hard
calling
to
out
like take
everybody.
a comedian serious, but yeah, he's serious about some of those
I know.
allegations. So
Like he said it with his whole chest.
Kevin Hart too. Yeah, he took down Kevin Hart there for a while too. Like
He
really
did.
hard.
He accused Kevin Hart of being a plant in Hollywood, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like all that stuff, all of his fame and stuff he had. He doesn't just go in there in his first year and like become super famous and wealthy. It's like, no, that was already set up for him. Like he was made, like Hollywood made him as a person. Like, hey, we want this type of character or this type of demographic to be in this limelight. Here he is. And so they just made him popular. For whatever,
yeah, it's a whole bunch
whatever
of stuff
reason.
on it.
Yeah, and he talks about it as like there's a cabal, there's an organization, all that's corrupt and this and that. But it was pretty entertaining to listen to him talk about it. But then he starts talking about how like he was a prodigy and read like 3,000 books a year. By the time he was like 8 years old, he was reading 3,000 books a year or something like that. And he was really athletic. And he left home when he was 13 and moved to Florida all on his own and lived as a homeless person and interviewed homeless people and got to. It was crazy. I didn't watch the whole thing because I didn't have time to. But he talks about a lot of wild stuff. And it's like, at first, I was kind of into it because he was just like calling people out for like stuff. He's like, they're lying about this, because he had like, he could tell you like the time, the date, all this stuff. He had all this information that, no one knew about, or I guess no one asked about. And he's like, oh yeah, all that's lies. All this stuff that people say that they did, or these other, comedians say that they did, like none of that's true. None of it's true. It's all lies. Like all this claim to fame that they said they did, all this struggle, all this stuff that they did to have to climb their way up to being a comedian or being popular or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's all fake. It's all stories. None of it's true. And I'm like, dang, he's pretty much telling it. Everyone's like, what is it? They're
open up their the skeletons in their closet.
yeah, like a lot of that stuff. And it's like, damn, Katt. And like you said, like Brady said, it's kind of hard to take comedians seriously like that, but he was talking serious. Like he wasn't like pulling punches, and he was like, I'm not gonna, like, I'm not trying to sound petty by exposing lies or anything, but like, that's the only, I don't think it's right to keep giving liars the right to keep lying.
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna stop liars from lying is if you call out their lies. That's the only way you can make them stop, or something like that. But anyways,
Yeah.
like he like I said, he went from that to like talking about how like he was a childhood prodigy and got accepted into college by the time he was like 12 years old. Some some class of science or something like that. I can't remember what college it was, but like apparently like he's wicked smart and could read like really well. Like I said, he claims he was reading 3,000 books a year by the time he was 8 years old. I'm like, 3,000 books a year by the time you're 8. I mean, it's not impossible. Crazier things have happened. But it's like, I guess I don't know Katt Williams as well as I think I know him to really believe his backstory.
There's only one place to go. The
Google.
source of all truth. Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
That's it.
I thought you were going to say, like, Jesus?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna go.
No, let's get Katt Williams on this on our seance someday.
Yeah, Katt Williams, come and set the record straight again. We can't offer you cognac or anything, but we can offer you, 3 guys that want to know the truth. That's all we can offer you. Not that anybody else will hear it, but we'll hear it and we'll tell other people.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's that was that's weird. It's dated for tomorrow. So I'm on like the early life of Katt Williams, and it says Williams has stated that he learned to read at 3 years old and was communicating in multiple languages, including French and Creole. An avid reader, he recalls reading 3,000 nonfiction books a year between the ages of 8 and 12 years old. And those two sentences have a source, and it's Katt Williams Unleashed, Club Shay Shay, retrieved 2024, January 5th, which is tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the podcast he did on Tuesday. Yeah.
Mhm.
With
I don't know. He emancipated himself from his parents at the age of 13. Source, his biography.com. I don't know anything about that site. And then the other source is The Chaotic Life of Comedy's Greatest Mystery, New York Post. I don't know. I'd have to dig in to find out if he emancipated himself.
Yeah. Do some
he's
research on it. It is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Just listening to him talk today, I'm like, okay, I mean, I have to do more research, but it is fairly interesting, the claims he's making and how he conducts himself. Granted, they are drinking cognac, so a lot of people are going to say he's like, oh, he's obviously under the influence of the drink, so he's just spouting off all kinds of stuff. but he didn't seem drunk. Like he seemed of sober mind. He was just having sips of cognac, not like a whole glass or anything like that. But
Yeah, he seemed
anyways,
locked and loaded with that information. He was
yeah.
locked and loaded, ready to release it.
hmm
So
So it sounds like something
yeah,
he had, like he was like ready for it. He was waiting to set the record straight, which
yeah.
I like the tea. I like the drama.
Oh yeah. Well,
Dude,
I kind of want to reference back to what what we were going to talk about earlier. I want to know what you guys like your dream attainable like sponsees would be. Like if you could get some sponsorships, if you can get a good following. I want to know. I want to know. I want to get in the mind of you guys, see what you want. So
if I could be sponsored,
Zen and Celsius, hands down.
Celsius.
Celsius.
Yeah, I can't get into Celsius. They taste like Tang and Theraflu to me. That's what they taste like.
Tang
That's
and
right.
Theraflu.
My boss like drinks like 2 or 3 Celsius a day, and I'm just like, I'll try one. I'm like,
God.
You know what I
just
like?
ass.
You know what I like? I like Ghost. Get sponsored by
Ghost
Ghost
is
because I don't see a whole lot of
Ghost
people
is pretty
sponsored
good.
by them. I like
No,
their flavors are great. I
Ghost. That's the one that makes the gaming one too, huh?
Yeah, I think they make like
Yeah.
a gamer fuel one. That or
Yeah.
Rain. Rain, you know
Yeah.
them? I
Yeah.
like them too. They
Yeah.
have
Rain's
good
pretty good.
flavor.
Man,
Oh,
I'm stuck on zero sugar monster, man. That's my go-to. 10 calories and they taste really good.
That's my number two. If I can't find Celsius, I'll either get a sugar-free Red Bull or I'll get the White Monster.
have you guys
The
ever had
white
a
one or
C4?
yeah. So that's more pre-workout. You know that, right? I don't think a lot of people know that. Like
I did
a
not know that.
C4 is more or less because you'll get the tingles from that. It's got a beta alanine in it, so it'll give you like the head scratching and shit like that. It's more or less a pre-workout, to be honest.
Bro,
And I see people drinking it just on a day-to-day basis. I'm like, how are you doing that?
dude, I did
Are
not
you
know that.
doing okay? Do you need to talk?
I thought
Yeah.
because I tried one for the first time like 3 months ago, and it was, I mean, it tasted great, and it was a C4. What was it? It was like Arctic something or other. It tasted kind of like a bomb pop. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, it's good. But, I finished the thing and I started getting tingly, dude. Like, I'm sitting in a piece of equipment, I'm running a skid steer, and I'm like, bro, I feel like I'm about to freaking jump out of this seat, like, straight through the glass, dude. Like, I was firing. I'm like, whoa! Like, I felt like I was juiced, dude. Like, I was on drugs or something. I was like, and I could feel it, like, in my face, like, tingling,
Yeah.
like, little
That's the
tingling stuff in my face. And I was just like, I'm never drinking one of these things again because it made me feel that way.
that's
And I just
that's
thought
the
it
beta
was,
alanine.
yeah. And I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just like, I thought it
When
was
you
just an
mentioned
energy drink.
C4, that's why I was like, why are you going to the gym? I didn't
Yeah,
understand
you
that.
going
No,
to
I
the
thought it
gym,
was just
buddy?
an energy drink, like a different type of energy drink. I'm like, oh, I've never tried it. I'll try it because they didn't have the one I wanted at the store at that time. Like they were out of that. I'm like, I'll try this one. It sounds good. And I was
Yeah.
freaking
I mean, they
amped.
taste great. They
Yeah.
taste fantastic. But like I'll see people just drinking it like just soloing it, just like, oh, I'm just gonna go hang out. I'm like, you sure you're not? You need to go to the gym, man. Get some of that energy burnt off or something.
Oh yeah, dude. Like,
I would do the C4. That's what they sold at the PX. They have C4 and Ghost, the little powder packets for pre-workout.
yeah.
And I didn't have enough time in between like duties to mix it, so I would just take a scoop,
Dry scoop.
drop it, and dry scoop with a few swigs of water, and I'd my warm up would be running down to the gym.
Yeah. But
Nice.
it's wild. And like, dude, the amount of caffeine these drinks have in them are absolutely atrocious. Like, I tried it. So, like I said, I like the 0 calorie monsters. And they have like 190 milligrams of caffeine, which is a lot. That's quite a bit. But then I forgot that pre workout, the actual powder that I have. So I take Bucked Up. I'm like an ambassador with them, and I take their highest stimulant pre workout. It's called like Mother Bucker. I
hmm
was like, fuck, I don't even want to look up the caffeine in that. It's like 400. I would be taking that. I take that in the morning sometimes, and I'll still have
Good
like 2 or 3 cups
lord.
of coffee throughout the day. And I'm
How
like,
does
how am I doing
your
this?
heart not exploded yet? Good lord.
Well,
That's
you never
insane.
know. Getting to that age.
I guess. Yeesh. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I'll
up
stick
to
with Ghost.
400 milligrams of caffeine a day appears to be safe for most healthy adults. That's roughly the amount of caffeine in 4 cups of brewed coffee, 10 cans of cola, or 2 energy
Cola.
shot drinks.
None of that
Cola.
sounds healthy. maybe in the American diet, but
You're an
I was like,
American.
God damn.
400 milligrams. So yeah, 2 Celsius would be that.
Damn.
I'd drink like a pot and a half of coffee though.
I have one energy drink a day, and the rest is just water.
I consume an ungodly amount of water. As a matter of fact, the fridge has a little water dispenser on it, but I was too lazy to fix the filter, so I just never used it. I was just buying bottles of water until I realized I was drinking about 10 to 12 bottles of water a day. And so I was like, I've got to fix it. And so save money we did. And I drink a lot of water, but I'm also drinking like, I don't know, we have a little Keurig 12-ounce thing. I'll probably drink 7, 8 cups of coffee, 12-ounce
Good lord,
a day. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've still got, some remnants here that I was sipping on earlier, finishing that one off.
See, the water thing, man. So at our gym, we have like a BMI, like a good like BMI scale that we use through our through the guy who runs the gym. And when he ran, every time he's run my statistics so far, I'm holding like a pound or a pound and a half of water on myself at all times. So I had to like stop. I had to cut back on water. Like I'm consuming too much water, so I'm holding all that weight. And to make it worse, I started taking creatine again, and it just amplifies
Yeah,
it, which
that
I
makes
need
you
that
hold
water. But
water.
I'm hoping it kind of like cuts it down a little bit. I'm like, damn. He's like, yeah, you should like. He's like, one, you're consuming a little bit too much protein and you're drinking too much water. He's like, those are the two things I usually have to tell people to drink and eat more of, but you're
Yeah.
doing a little bit too much of both. So I had to cut down on water and protein and replace some of
Damn.
my protein intake with like a lean whey protein shake. So weird.
Gotcha.
He's like, it's not a bad thing, but if you want to see more like vascularity and stuff like that, you need to kind of like burn some more calories, like cardio wise, like at the very beginning of your workout. So
I guess what I want to do is I just want to lose like my gut, like my little spare tire I got right around my waist now. Try to get rid of that. And
it's tough. That's the hardest place to get rid of. Well, you can't spot reduce anywhere either. It's just about losing body fat, man. Like I said, I went from like 19.3% body fat, which isn't horrible. When I first got that, I was like, damn, that's for being 242 pounds, that's pretty good. 19's pretty good. And then that September when me and Maria did our little challenge, I pulled it all the way back down to 13. And I was pretty impressed with that. I probably gained some of it back, but I'm trying to get down to like 10, start to see some abs and shit like that. But I just can't seem to break that 230. I can't get past it. Can't get below it for some reason.
I dropped 20 pounds in, I think it was 2.5 months. And all I was doing was I was working out normal. I mostly run. I hate the gym. I cannot stand going to the gym, but I mostly run and do cardio like that. And all I was doing is tracking my calorie intake versus output on the app I use is MyNet Diary. And it was like the act of just having to type it in makes you more aware of the calories you consume, and so you just instinctively start cutting out all those little snackies. And you just drop weight. I don't know.
That's what I did in September. Like it's when I was calorie counting, that's what it is. And like, no, I don't care what anybody says. No, I don't care. They're fitness models or whatever. The only way you lose weight is to burn more active calories than you intake every day.
Yeah.
Some people are like, no, you need to eat like chicken, rice, and broccoli. I'm like, brother,
Yeah.
you could consume 2,000 calories of straight Twinkies on a day, and as long as you're burning 2,100 calories actively, you're good to go. Like you're gonna lose weight.
I didn't change anything in my diet. I didn't focus on protein. I didn't do any macros. I didn't do any of that counting. All I did was just track. So if I had a Snickers, I just took a picture of the freaking barcode and I logged it, and that was the cal. I just didn't worry about it. I found out that the majority of my calories that I didn't know where they were coming from was coming from alcohol and from sodas.
Soda
So
pop, dude. I went straight to diet soda. That's all I'll drink is diet soda.
I just don't drink it anymore.
yeah.
Can't quit soda pop, dude. I love soda pop.
I know.
Dude.
I like
No.
soda pop. I'll drink zero
can't.
sugar Dr. Pepper. Like I don't drink it all the time, but the times I do drink it is like when I have like a real hankering for like something sweet. Like I have a real bad sweet tooth. Instead of consuming sugar, I'm like, all right, I'll have a zero sugar soda because that satisfies like my sweet craving, because it is sweet. It has I guess artificial sweetener in it, but zero sugar. So my blood sugar level doesn't spike, and I'm freaking like I get bloated, and I can feel my freaking rings swelling on my finger.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah, and
I
also,
cut
go ahead, go ahead.
I cut sodas out of my diet entirely, and now I feel so much better. All I drink is coffee. I drink probably a Celsius a day, and if I run out, I'll go like a week or two without it, and then I go buy me like a couple 24 packs over at Costco, and so it's water, Celsius, and coffee. That's all I drink. And
You buying 24 packs of Celsius, brother? Good God, you trying to get that plug with
dude,
Celsius?
two 24 packs from Costco every time I go, but
Now,
I don't go very often.
you're on a one-way road to get sponsored by both of those. If you're asking for barcodes for Zens and you're buying 24 packs of Costco
Dude,
Celsius, you're on the fast track.
3 years or 2 years, two or 3 years I've been doing Zen. Never did the rewards points until like 3 months ago. And I'm just so sad. There's so many cool little gizmos and gadgets I could have got with their damn rewards points. Matter of fact, I got my stash. I don't really want to pull it all out. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rolls. So 10 times 50.
God.
50 cans. It's because sometimes I run out and I get scared that like a hurricane's gonna come or like a storm's gonna happen. They're gonna be out. I ain't going without it, my man.
That's what we call it.
That's
Go
a
back and
nicotine
watch this.
addiction. Straight up, dude. Holy shit.
You ain't gonna catch me lacking, my man. I'm gonna have nicotine.
Kyle, have you seen the like comic size like Zen pouch like thing? It's like this big and you have like 50 of them in it. Have you seen that? Can you order
I want
those?
one.
I feel like that's what you need to start ordering.
I haven't seen them. I don't know where you get those. I haven't really looked it up, but I've seen them. Didn't they give Tucker Carlson like a massive?
Dude, they gave like a big ass one. It was like 5 foot tall and shit like that. It was huge. They had to fly it in on a helicopter.
That's what I need. I need to buy those.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Oh, Kyle's got Celsius and Zens. Manny, what are you feeling? What kind of sponsorship you want to see, man?
Said Ghost and what else?
Nah, just Ghost. That's like the only, I guess, product thing I consume. Maybe daily. At least one Ghost a day. And that's only in the morning. Like, instead of drinking, like, caffeine well, it has caffeine in it, but just coffee. Because coffee makes me have to shit. So I'll just drink just one of those. And then, like I said, water throughout the day. And I'll have, sometimes I'll have lunch. Sometimes I'll skip lunch altogether. And just eat, like, a sandwich whenever I get home. And that's pretty much like dinner. It's like lunch and dinner together.
Mine is just so off. Mine are just so random. So the first one I'll say, which I guess isn't too random, Tabasco. Dude, I would kill. I would kill to be sponsored by Tabasco. I have Tabasco ties. I have Tabasco shirts, dude. I would kill. And they don't advertise that much, and they don't have to. Everybody knows Tabasco. I would love to just be that Tabasco sponsor and carry that bitch around. Eat my food and shit like that.
Tabasco.
The other one is y'all remember Dunkaroos? The little like pouches of like the cookies and cream white like cookies. Dude,
yes,
I want it so bad.
I know what you're talking about.
I want it so bad.
I know what you're talking
about.
I
have no idea what you're talking about.
Dude, I haven't seen those in forever though. Dunkaroos.
Look up Dunkaroos, and you'll be like, I remember. It's from like when we were kids. It was just like kind of like how you used to get like the little pretzel things and the cheese, the Ritz ones, but it's like a little cookie, and it's like I think birthday cake. Like
it's just icing.
Nasty.
It's just a cookie dipped in icing. That's all it is.
So
it's
good.
Just a sugar crisp dipped in sugar cream. Like it's just sugar on sugar.
I feel like I got a ton of those on a field trip once.
Yeah.
I
think like a staple.
And I think I ate too many and I got sick and I never wanted I still don't like birthday cake.
So you'll get sick off of eating one of those. It's so much sugar in it. But I just think that'd be cool to be sponsored by them. And then Crocs, man. That's a far-fetched one, but I would love to be sponsored by Crocs. I work out in Crocs. I have the shoes I work out in. They're not like the regular Crocs. Crocs makes tennis shoes, which nobody fucking knows about. Crocs makes tennis shoes, and the best tennis shoes ever.
Oh.
That would be a type.
I'd want to be sponsored by Ariat.
Ooh,
That's a good one
that'd be a
because
nice one.
I wear Ariat boots. Like those are my preferred work boots. If not Ariat, Twisted X work boots. I love Twisted X work boots. They're the most comfortable steel toe boots I've ever bought in my whole life. And I was so sad when mine finally gave out. The sole came undone, like the back part of my heel. It completely came undone, and I got water in my boot one day. I'm like, oh, but I had them for like 3 years, dude.
Yeah.
I got
Well,
a
with your line of work, you could actually do it probably pretty well. You make construction content every once in a while. Just throw them a shout out every once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Is that how you get sponsored? You just like
I have
mention?
no idea.
From my TikTok, from what I've seen on TikTok, that's how it works, man. And sometimes you have to have a pretty good following, but man, if you get sponsors, so one of the TikTokers that I follow, he's just a regular guy. He doesn't do anything fucking elusive. He's not that great looking, like, but he makes videos every single day. And he's been doing it for the past like 4 or 5 years, and he exposed how much money he makes off of TikTok, and it was wild. So he said like the first 2 years on TikTok, like I think 2019 and 2020, he was making videos consistently every day, and he didn't make any money. 2021, he finally got into like the creator fund or whatever, and he made like 2,370 bucks, which I was like, fuck, that's just like random income on TikTok. That's pretty good.
That's not
And he's
bad at
like,
all.
and no, not bad at all. And then 2020, he's like, this is where it gets a little serious. He's like, I made $33,000 off of some of the sponsorships that I got and making my videos, just getting views and shit on TikTok. And he was like, to make it worth opening an LLC, you need to make six figures. He's like, in 2023, I made 140,000 extra dollars off of TikTok, off of all his sponsorships, off of all his videos. Like I said, regular looking guy. He just makes like little cooking videos and like going to the store and like buying stuff off of like this little death wheel. He calls it a death wheel
Yeah.
at work. It's like a little wheel that like gives you like little microwavable sandwiches and shit like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I stacked that on top of my $118,000 job. And he's like, I've never been more happy or more fucking wealthy. And I was like, that is fucking wild. But he's sponsored by like barbecue sauce companies, like random one-off companies that pay him like a one-time deal to make like 5 videos of their product and just like push it out there because he gets so many views on TikTok. And that's how I've seen a lot of other people do it. They just like keep producing, like shouting out, like buying their products and pushing it really hard. And they send them packages and they send them sponsorship deals. It's just little one-offs. You don't have to like, not like rock solid with them. You just make a couple videos and then
And mention
you
them
get to
like,
go. And
oh
that's
yeah, I
really,
got these boots. If you ain't
yep.
wearing
And
Ariats,
that's why I want to get 10,000 followers. I want to get 10,000 followers so I can start trying to like reach out to sponsorships. I think that would be fucking awesome. Like for people to pay me for my shit, just like wearing their product, doing something they like. I know TikTok shops like taking over TikTok right now, which is kind of annoying.
yeah. Every
But
other
like
freaking video I get, it's like some TikTok shop.
eligible for commission or whatever, and it's kind of annoying. But like I want to like take some cool sponsorship, something I actually use, something I know is a good product,
Tabasco.
and that
Tabasco.
fucking Tabasco. Throw that
I'm
shit
down
on
the
every-
I'm down the road from Avery Island. I
That's
go out
where
there to the
that's
yeah.
where they make it. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Wow,
pretty cool. Got the jungle gardens out there. It's pretty cool.
that's dope.
Alligator chased me.
They ain't no good.
Just it was fine. And then you could pat your hand on the water and they'd come up to see you.
Mm, a dangerous encounter.
Dangerous
kidding.
encounter indeed.
Yeesh. Oh man.
But the boots I used to buy like the cheapest work boots I could because because work boots are expensive.
The
And
Brahmins.
I bought a pair of Ariats in 2017. They still work. I still work in them every day outside. Just, I mean, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just going out, mow the grass, put up fence posts, whatever.
Yeah.
Small, just things around the house. And 2017. I'm never gonna need it. I'm convinced I'm just gonna have these pair until I die.
They're good boots, man.
Lifelong.
They're freaking. They last. Like I said, the only ones that have outlasted a pair of my Ariat boots, because I've bought at least 4 or 5 pairs of Ariat boots since I've been working construction, mainly because I lost one or lost a pair. Is Twisted X. Those like immediately, like you get one that fits your foot. It doesn't fit. It's too snug. It doesn't pinch your toes or anything. I usually get the square toes because I don't like the round toes. Those do pinch my toes. But I mean, immediately, it's just so comfortable. I mean, you walk around in them all day. I'm on my feet almost all day, working outside and in construction and stuff. It's like, yeah, I'm almost wearing tennis shoes, dude. Except, they're steel toe boots. The insoles
Man, you get you a pair of actual tennis shoes and get into the gym, son. Start making some gym content. That's what I want to see from you, my friend.
I can make some gym content and get rid of my little double chin.
Zero gym content. I hate it.
You gotta get the gains going.
Come on now. What I'm all about. I
I
fucking
get
love the
sponsored
gym.
like all my tattoos.
Hell yeah.
Sponsored by Nintendo, baby.
Licensed.
Licensed. And then Sonic.
If you have anything get sponsored by them, anything that's not Nintendo, you're gonna have to cut it off. You're gonna have to get it deleted.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't have that. Oh, shit. All right, well, I guess I'll have to block it out or blur it out. Oh, man. Does anybody know what time it is?
Yeah, it's 10:44.
10:44. Okay, yeah, that's a good chunk of content. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Or you guys want to talk about? Cover? We're here.
No, I'm actually getting pretty sleepy. I'm probably just gonna hop right over and just go straight to sleep.
That's probably what I'm going to do, too.
Oh yeah, it's night time, boys. But it was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Definitely pick it up for sure.
All right. So we're all in agreement. 2 weeks from today, same time, 8:30, we're going to cover Pearl and X. And Kyle's going to come up with a few monsters
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
for us
I'm gonna
to,
try.
to have a fun, time hunting with. Play the... All right, fellas.
All right,
Peace.
boys. Talk to y'all later.
Later.